Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of NSB Custom Cars. On our last episode, we started working on the Dart. I was going to try to get it ready for the No Name National, which is coming up. And we got the oil change, oil filter, and we put the diaper on underneath the motor. And we moved back here to the rear end. I was going to do some adjustments on the shocks and the ladder bars. Unfortunately, we had to stop because the shocks had no adjustments left to them. And I went over that on the last video, so I'm not going to go back over all that again. But we ordered new shocks and springs for the rear. And we ordered it through Jegs. And everything, when we clicked on it, it said everything's in stock. Get it within a couple days. Well, we got our springs. They came in. Hyper coils. Got them. They came in a couple days. But then the shocks were like nowhere to be seen. Week and a half, still seeing nothing. So we called our buddy Rob down there at Jegs, and he got into someone's butt, and we finally got our shocks. So appreciate it, Rob, for taking care of it. But got a nice set of shocks, which are a little bit longer than the ones we've got. These are two-way adjustable, to where these are single adjustable. So these are by Strange. Got these. So we're going to get them put on and get this stuff adjustment on this episode, so let's tear into it. So the first thing we need to do is I got to get these shocks off, the old ones off, and I need to support the rear end. So I got my transmission jack here. Hold that rear end up. And I'm pretty sure I put this one in the last time. I didn't have it tight, so it should come off pretty easy. Yeah, I thought I just put them on there pretty loose. Got the old shocks off and put them back in this box here. And we need to assemble our new shocks here. Pretty much we just pull them all the way up. Gonna run the lock ring all the way down. Spring all the way down. Well, it's got a lot more travel. This ain't gonna be fun because this is just a little bit longer than I may have to put something on to compress them springs a little bit. So as you can see, I had to put my spring compressor on to get it to go on there. When I relieve this back, it'll be all the way up and won't be that much tension on the springs. I just had to go down some to get it on. We got both of them on. You can see there, I can rotate that spring so it's not that tight in there. So now we got all the adjustments down here. Bring them to the bottom. It's about to run these all the way off. So our spring perches here, they're in the full up position because them springs were so short. So now I need to take these two bolts here loose and bring them down to the bottom hole to give it a little more length to it. Trick is kind of leave them two bolts loose till you get the bolt through and the shocks on, and it'll self-level itself. Then we'll tighten them. Let me get this other side now. As you can see, this is the new shock, and this is the hole where the old shock was. I haven't moved the rear end up and down, so we're gaining an inch here, and it was up one hole, so that's almost 2 inches when I come down, so we're only gaining an inch. But this shock's going to be a lot more softer. It's like half what the other springs were. So our option is wanting to get this halfway, so you'll have the same amount of up travel as you do down travel. As far as, our goal is to get this shock about halfway here when it's sitting. That way you have bounce down and bounce up some. So we'll see what we got here. Let's get the other bolts back in. Now that I got the shocks in, next step is we're going to have to get it down on the ground and see where my shocks are sitting at. Then we can adjust the springs and bring the car back up if it's too low or whatnot. So I lowered the car down. It squatted about 2 3/4 of an inch. So I got to come up about 1/4 of an inch, or actually 3/4 of an inch to get that travel. So I'm going to go up on them springs a little bit. We'll see where we land. I'm at 11 3/4, and it came all the way down to 9 and something, I forget. You got spanner wrenches for these. Got a big one and a small one. Small one's for the lock on the bottom, the big one's for the top. I was 11 3/4. I'm trying to go to 11 1/4. That'd be a ½ inch. Almost there. Right there's dead on 11 1/4. So I've had exactly from center bolt to center bolt, that's 15 1/2, and when it's down on the ground, it's 13 1/2. That's exactly 2 inches of down travel. And if we measure the length of that shaft, I'm good to be 4 and this shaft here. Let's see if I can get on the inside, get down there, see where we're at. I might get 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 travel altogether. So I'm about center of my shock, about where I need to be. So I got up play, down play. That's about perfect. Our next step, our shocks are wide open, so it bounces. There's no resistance anywhere. So they're wide open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 clicks. There's halfway. I like starting in the center. Glad I did my car. It works out pretty good. So that's going to be all on the dart. We got the shocks put in, the rear end's adjusted. I put it back on the trailer, and it's ready to go do a little test and tune. It's going to be our next little thing we need to do to it. And that way we'll be ready for the No Name Nationals. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe and like, man.